Oh my goodness. Welcome back to another episode of Going For It. We are here with a dynamic duo, if there ever was one. The reason that there is a tasty trivia on the planet, these two gentlemen right here, Craig Brooks and myself. He's the man that started it all. I'm the one who just copied him better than everyone else, and that's pretty much how it happened.
That was the relationship early on, for sure.
Yeah.
But you blossomed into your own unique kind of style that was beneficial and profitable.
Yeah. I think that was some of the most fun. I now, as someone who's no longer in the trivia game but still gets to attend a trivia time and again, so much judgment. There's it's hard
aggressive. It's hard not to. I feel the same way because I will visit one, and some of them even over the years were some of ours, but we got bigger. So it was like, oh, this is different than what we started. This is not the same game. It's not done at the same kind of cadence or energy or whatever. I was like, okay, I got to get okay with that. You know what I mean? I had to get okay with that.
I got to be cool with it. I'm not, but
yeah, originally not. I'm okay.
Yeah. Well, we had a very high expectation. Like, if you were going to come work for us, you had to be able to bring it. And then we got to a point where we were growing too fast. And then it was like, you need to sort of bring it.
That's exactly
you need to fake bringing it a little bit.
It was you're right. It was too fast that we couldn't maintain the standard because it went to too many events. You couldn't hit them all in one night reasonably.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Learning. We were hitting
some of these. We were hitting 3 or 4 a night after hosting, which is wild.
Yeah, it was
to think about. Now we have children, and 10:30. I'm like, I'm exhausted.
No, I don't. It's true. I am more tired. I'm off coffee too, but I'm not not flagging. I did it because of the bladders thing. Yeah. And I dipped off coffee in September. So for a week, headache city. And now, fucking awesome, dude. I'm not even getting mad tired at 3:00 like I used to. Wild, right? It was unexpected. I'm going to bed around the same time.
Okay.
So I can get to bed a little sooner if I want.
That's good.
But I miss the taste.
Yeah, that's the thing that caffeine has, that addictive property, and I love it. I also hate it, but I love it.
Right. I miss the taste of that delicious coffee and chocolate, which I've cut out as well. But I miss the taste of that almost as much as Buffalo fans miss what winning is. They miss.
Oh, we will discuss that. There's some things to talk about. There was a beautiful transition. We are going to start, though, Thursday night food bowl. We are going to.
It's a good game this week on paper.
It is a good game.
It's very watchable.
We also have some other games that are also watchable.
Agreed.
The Monday night game is watchable. The Sunday night game is arguable that it is watchable.
I think.
Maybe now.
With what just went down.
Right. So Cincinnati, Baltimore, I think, is going to be a super fun game. Baltimore losing before we get into this, I need to shout out OG Sourpuss winning last week our pick'em. He's going to listen and he's going to be upset.
I have
other things.
He will check out because we weren't talking football in the first 14 seconds.
That might be true.
He will Sourpuss his way out.
Well, he was our winner last week with 9. It was actually a 3-way tie atop the leaderboard between Craig Brooks, myself, and the OG Sourpuss with 9. He gets the win because I think he picked one of the tiebreakers correctly. Mike Spillane, the big loser of the week, with 8. Bummer, buddy.
I'm in it. I'm coming back now. I skipped a week or something. I'm coming back.
The comeback is for real. That 2 in week 7 really feels bad.
I don't think I saved them all. Is what happened.
That might be what happened.
I gapped it for a week and a half.
Well, with that being said, I believe OG Sourpuss is atop the leaderboard based on tiebreakers right now. But it goes 87 him, 87 me, 86 Mike Spillane, 74 Craig Brooks. But the comeback is real.
It is real.
Happen.
It's real. I need to grab 3 to 5 a week, which is gonna be tough. But
it's doable, though. It's doable. Upsets are a real thing. And truthfully, who the hell knows what's happening in the NFL this season?
Oh, it's very fun this year with everything going on. All the crazy upsets, all the moves, the the wild injuries. The Riders have outdone themselves this season.
The Riders are on point right now. With that being said, I want to pivot into Cincinnati, Baltimore. Both teams losing last week. Cincinnati in what I would call upsetting fashion. They were kind of destroying in that game and then sneakily got smacked upside the head, I think that is the way that I'm going to phrase that.
The Texans comeback was that one?
Yeah, that was
I saw that.
Texans was for Cincinnati. Baltimore was Cleveland.
Right.
Cleveland came back to
both
Sean
with
Watson.
Crazy comebacks.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I want to like Baltimore. I want to. I really, really do. But they're missing something. I don't know what it is. It's just like, and I don't know if it's Lamar, because we know our opinions and feelings on Lamar, that he doesn't deserve the money he's getting, but arguably nobody at that level does. But unless your name's Patrick Mahomes, there's just something missing for Baltimore for me. I don't know what it is. Like, Mark Andrews is there, Zay Flowers is doing well, OBJ is there, Bateman's catching balls finally, like running game's figured out, but there's just I don't know what it is. Something feels missing.
Well, the defense isn't as dominant as previous iterations. I think that this season we have seen some exceptional defense early in the year. What the Niners and Cowboys were doing, that kind of cooled a little bit, and then we saw the rise of the Steelers and the Browns defensively. Right? I'm even forgetting a few teams that are really bringing it, but those four really stand out with like what they've been doing and literally winning games, like defenses winning games and taking over. So I think that we're not seeing that for Baltimore anymore, and we were used to that, right? So I think that's diminishing them, and because two of the defenses that are like the hottest in the league, they're in that same AFC North. It could be that you're getting the Baltimore offense that's actually quite good and strong this year up against two of the top 5 defenses in the league 4 times. That might distill the view of what we think Baltimore could be if they make it out of that. Now, they might not make it out of that, because this could be the year that 4 teams from the same division make the playoffs. It
really does look like it.
It looks like it. It really looks, because the defenses are very good. You've got 2 elite offenses, 2 elite defenses, all in the AFC North, right? So that's my long-winded way of saying I actually still do trust Baltimore at this point. I think this is my narrative from the Dolphins too, even though they haven't won big games or whatever. We know what they're capable of. It's that when they're running up against a division rival, which is always tough, and then an elite defense, you got to give them the okay, I don't think this is how they always are kind of vibe.
Okay. Well, with that, I think I trust Joe Burrow and the Bengals more right now than I do the Ravens. So I'm taking the Bengals here. It was tough. It was a tough call, but Baltimore losing last week to Cleveland and then having to turn around and do a short week against the Bengals feels tough, because this Bengals offense is significantly better than the Browns offense. And I don't want to say the Bengals defense is even close to Cleveland's defense, but it is more, in my opinion, is playing more competently right now than Baltimore's. And there's just more weapons for the Bengals to score. You know, the Ravens need Lamar to run a little bit. They need, Zay Flowers to break one a little bit. They need Mark Andrews to catch at least 5 balls in order to be effective. Like, some things need to go right a little more, where the Bengals, Jamar Chase only caught 6 balls last week. One of them was a tutty and still over 100 yards. Wasn't even at 100%. T. Higgins comes back this week. Tyler Boyd's looking good. Joe Mixon's coming back.
That dropped Tyler Boyd. That could have got me a dang dub in fantasy.
That's painful.
That was a tutty to end it, to ice it up.
It was. And CJ Stroud said, no, sir.
That dude.
And
we'll probably get to
talk
him.
About that.
Like,
oh, yeah. We're going to talk about that.
Dude.
Yeah. He's a guy. I'm going to take Bengals. Who are you taking here?
I feel like I got to look at the app, because while I like Baltimore a lot, I still think I was just talking about Baltimore in a vacuum on that. I was not saying I like them this
versus
week.
Cincinnati.
I want to see what I picked. I picked the Bengals, which is against the grain, but I'm going to have to go Bengals in the app. I'm just going to leave that open so I can trust my own picks. But yeah, I like the Bengals in that division over any of the teams in the AFC North. Even though there's a lot of juice there, I like them the most. And I'm drawn to Joey B. I know what he's capable of.
So cool.
Very cool Super Bowl run.
So cool.
He's cool, man. And he can make all the throws. If he stays healthy, it feels like we get what we want, which is probably, and this hurts me, like I want Miami deep, but like you can see a Bengals Chiefs redux coming. That would be very cool narrative.
It would be
because
very
the Bills
cool.
are now absolutely dead, so we no longer care about Patty Mahomes and Allen. We want to.
Do you remember
Burrow.
3 weeks ago when I told you that their window was closing and that it might already be closed?
Hey,
I feel a little bit like a prophet. I
you
feel
remember
a little
the
bit.
Last 2.5 years when I said Josh Allen is a problem.
That's correct. You have said that. Anyway, we'll get there because there's other things I want to talk about with Buffalo. Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Deshaun Watson getting season-ending shoulder surgery this week. He is out for the season.
Unbelievable.
And his cap hit, fully guaranteed for the next 3 years, is $63.9 million.
Yep. It's a bummer. They got to win next year, which they won't, or that is going to be one of the worst contracts in the history of the universe.
It's bad. This does not look good. This man did not play well last season.
Hey,
when he came back,
decent in 2 quarters there.
He did look decent in 2 quarters, but now he's going to miss the rest of the season.
I know.
This is bad. This dude's never going to find traction again.
But they're straight up cursed, bro. They're straight up cursed.
The Browns is the Browns.
The Browns is the Browns.
For Mike, even though he's not here.
The only he picks Cleveland because he always picks against the Steelers, I think.
Right.
But like, I'm taking Pittsburgh because Cleveland, and they're going with the rookie. They're not going with PJ Walker. I heard they're going with Dorian.
Foolish.
Well, perhaps, right? I agree with you that, but it's a bad situation either way. And the thing is, could they now? Do we want to look at it and say, "Holy shit!" If Chubb never goes down and Deshaun's full health, oh my God, the Browns might have actually had a real run in them. But guess what? They're cursed. Chubb's gone. Deshaun's gone. I do not know if they even have a window next year. So Pittsburgh for me, and like I hope TJ Watt gets like 4 sacks.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Pittsburgh here, because it's a battle of the defenses, and it's like which offense is going to make more happen. The Steelers look like they're willing to run the ball 40 times a game and have Kenny Pickett throw the ball 15 times. They
started feeding Najee and Warren. Boom, boom.
I played Warren last week because Mostert was on a bye, and I was like, this feels good.
I think I'm going to flex him this week. I have both Najee and Warren on one team, and I've actually been benching them because I have who the hell have I been benching them for? I want to be accurate, and I have the app open already.
You
don't want to lie to you.
It's a waste of time.
I've been benching them for Saquon and White from Tampa Bay because he's heating up. He's had 15 and 19
he's doing
and 15
very well.
And Saquon. So I've been sitting. No, I have Ayuk in instead of Warren right now. I don't know what to do.
That's a tough one. Because I think Warren's going to get his touches. The Steelers last week showed that they were like, okay, we know where we fucked up. We need to run the ball, make them respect the run. That's going to give Kenny Pickett more time in the pocket to be able to drop back, run.
With space he can hit.
With play action and
Canada came down and he's on the sideline now.
I like it. It's a good move.
That knocks some sense into him into being like, apparently. Oh wait, I'm okay. I can fucking call.
I would still fire him, but yeah, I get what you're saying. I agree.
Well, here's the thing though. They're scoring points now too. You give this man another couple of weeks where they're scoring points and winning games, you cannot fire. You can't change the chemistry. They're 6-3. We'll see. I think.
But 2 of those games are absolutely on the defense.
Defense
won at least 2 of those.
But at this point, do you stir that pot? Like we'll get to Buffalo, but them firing Dorsey, like it brings other problems in.
That was a mistake.
Inconsistency during a season is all I'm saying. Canada may need to go, but I don't think it's right now.
We'll see. We'll see how they end up. We'll see where they go. We're both going Steelers. Chicago, Detroit. I believe Justin Fields will be back this week.
I heard that too.
But this does not feel like it's going to be particularly close. Give me Detroit by 1 million. They might be the second best team in the NFC right now. I really, when I sit down and I think about it, who's close to them? Who's close to the Eagles? Nobody. And then who's next? And it's like the Lions and the Cowboys, maybe.
Cowboys and Niners are in the mix.
Niners dropped 2 straight though. Brock Purdy looks
okay. So I'm going off full health with Trent Williams and Debo back. They look phenomenal, right?
Right.
And they were missing these 2 pieces. It's unfortunate for them that this keeps happening to them. They lose 1 or 2 guys, they're not the same
Everything
team.
falls apart. Right.
Other teams do that better. Other teams have a better next man up. They are very front loaded. They at the core,
those contracts, how can you not be?
I know, but if they keep full health and the offense has Debo, Kittle, CMC, Ayuk, come on, with
so
Trent
hard
Williams,
to full health, man. It's so hard to do in the
know,
league today.
But like that's why I think they're still dangerous where they have CMC's never full health either.
That's true. Yeah, I'm a big Lions believer, so I'm taking Detroit here. Dude. They're so
fun to watch right now. When's the last time that happened? Stafford and Megatron.
Yeah, and it was only good because of Stafford and Megatron. They weren't even like great.
No, now they got a run game. Oh, Montgomery and Gibbs is fantastic.
It's so
Goff
cool.
Looks like the Goff that went to the Super Bowl.
For sure. He's got some swag back, and I like it.
But now we know it was the McVay hitting on thing only. We know it wasn't even performance. It was they were cocking each other. They were just bashing tips.
And Goff does not want to bash tips with with Dan Campbell. You don't want that tip, bro.
No.
He's
that
large.
Tip will eat the other one. It'll just
bite it all. Chargers, Green Bay. Give me the Chargers here. I think both of these coaches could very easily be on their way out the door. And I want to share, this will be our first, Craig's not as in on the internet as he used to be.
That's true.
It was reported earlier this week on the Pat McAfee show by Dan Orlovsky that if Bill Belichick was to leave or be fired from the Patriots this year, he has already decided which team he would go to. That team is the Los Angeles Chargers, as reported by Dove Kleinman about an hour ago via Twitter.
Really?
It was something that I was scrolling Twitter while I was waiting for you. And hold on, Herbert first. Yes, absolutely. 2, we've said all season that this defense should be better. Who's going to get better performances out of this defense than Bill fucking Belichick?
Oh my God.
Nobody.
I heard. No, I didn't hear that. Thank you for giving me that. That's fucking juice, bro. That's the juice, and I like it. I did hear that also on McAfee. That's just where you get a lot of great information, in my opinion. It came from Diana Rossini from The Athletic, I think, that Bill and Bob are working on amicable exit, both parties. So this is being reported now. Now I don't know where we're at with this, but oh my God, if it could happen in season or something, the Chargers being relevant in an instant, but as long as they can keep everybody, he'd be next year for sure. That would be compelling.
Dan Orlovsky says he heard Patriots, Bill Belichick will take over as head coach GM for a different NFL team next year. Says location has already been determined.
Got it, next year.
Dove pinned that, so that's at the top of his profile. And then he said, and I'm trying to find it on the Twitter, Bill Belichick is favorite to go to the Chargers if he leaves Patriots. A league source tells Gary Myers, New York. One of my well-placed sources believes the Chargers are the favorites for Bill Belichick in 2024. Excellent QB, team ready to win. Belichick likes California and the beach. If Belichick takes over the defense and lets Herbert be Herbert on offense, that could be a very good combination. And you have the added, I don't know that he takes his whole staff with him. Maybe Bill O'Brien stays and head coaches the Patriots, something like that. If you get Josh McDaniel to come back and be the offensive coordinator for this team, he plays the Vegas Raiders twice a year for revenge games. That's another line of incentive that I think would be very interesting to see. I
love this shit, dude. I love this shit. I think Darius Butler said on today's episode, or somebody did, it's or maybe it was Adam Schefter, it's like the best reality show. It's really a reality show.
It really is.
We get to fucking play. No wonder people like them so much, right? I can't stand the ones that are about things I'm not into, like the real estate ones or anything like that.
I give a shit about that stuff.
like people are so into it, but that's why we're into the NFL. Like I'm legit going to watch in season Hard Knocks. It's the Miami fucking Dolphins. Like I'm more, they didn't get me for the other 2 seasons because I wasn't caring about those teams. This is my team now. So it's like, oh my God, it's more content about a thing I already like. They understand me. They're giving me what I want.
They get me. So that was interesting. I think the Chargers are still gonna do stuff this season, and Green Bay has shown that they are not good.
Yeah,
not
they're
good.
struggling.
Jordan Love might not be a guy.
Well, he's certainly not getting the support of his fucking front office, which is really not a great way to get a guy mentally there.
Right. So, they are very non-committal to him in every capacity, which feels like the Aaron Rodgers thing all over again.
But so much faster, which feels like to me that the front office is spiraling and very likely to get terminated.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. That was one of the things I'd also heard on McAfee was they were talking about, like what this from.
Yeah, they have like a vote.
The head dude is leaving, is like,
yeah, but he gets another one comes in. It's like a voted thing. So they have like a democratic process for that. And then that person can clean house and do things. And I think they will.
I think they need to. I think this organization, this once storied, like historic franchise that people, even though they play in like basically a park, like it was a franchise that you wanted to go play for. You wanted to play for the Packers, like, and nobody hated the Packers. Everybody was like, cool. Like that's a team I can cheer for just generally because, they're the Packers. Like they're an American institution.
That's right.
And now it has come to a place where I think the Gutekunst, Brian, David, I don't know his name. Gutekunst, the GM, has really soured that relationship for a lot of people internally and I think externally.
I think but that's why I think he's got to go.
Yeah, I think it's only a matter of time, but it's definitely not going to be a good week for the Packers. I think Justin Herbert's going to do some work. So give me the Chargers here. Who are you taking?
Same.
Chargers. It's the way. Raiders at Miami. Raiders doing a little bit of stuff recently, doing kind of good. Miami's just too good. Miami's coming back from their bye. Achan's back. Even if he's on a pitch count, I don't see a way that Vegas can keep up with this Dolphins offense, especially after a bye week. But his legs are rested. They got a little R&R.
I do hope we get a lot of run game.
McDaniel got to like come up with some new fun shit to implement this week. So give me Miami all day here.
I hope you're right. I'm nervous about Tua getting sacked a time or two by Max Crosby, who's like close to leading the NFL.
It's like a giant man.
Nervous about that because if that were to happen and we didn't get enough of the run game going, any QB, not just Tua, gets worse when they start getting hit. So
Tom Brady hated being hit.
All of them do.
That's how the Giants won those Super Bowls. Was they hit Tom Brady early and they hit him often.
That's right. Pat Mahomes doesn't do well getting banged around. Like it's no one does.
But he also gets a little fired up, and I like it.
I know. He's special. Tua's wonderful. Let's keep his jersey clean, and we win and Miami wins the game, right? You keep his jersey clean, they win the game, and probably a little bit easily, trying to get their race back on, trying to get back to the track meet. But boy, if there's some early sacks or movement and stuff like that, I'm going to get concerned. That could be a tight one. Miami knows my pick for sure.
Miami. It feels like a good pick there. New York Giants at the Washington Commanders. This isn't even a difficult pick for me as someone wearing a Giants hat and has their allegiance to the New York Football Giants. Give me the Commanders here all day. Sam Howell leading the league in passing yards.
That's right.
The fuck?
That's right.
Second, CJ Stroud, very impressive. I want to talk about them, or him specifically in a little bit, but Sam Howell, most sacked quarterback in the NFL, leading the league in passing yards.
Not the most interceptions, though. That's Josh Allen.
Also true. Josh Allen turns the ball over a lot. I'm very excited to talk about that in a couple picks here because there's some things we need to talk about with the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to take the Commanders here. I am full on tank for the New York Football Giants. Give me the highest pick possible. I said this to Mike Thomas just a couple of weeks ago, prior to all of the Daniel Jones ACL and all these things. the Giants as a team are not far away.
No.
Whether you choose to believe that or not, they are not far away. That defense has a lot of very good, very young pieces on it. Dexter Lawrence is one of the best interior defensive linemen in football, like top 3. Very young. Kayvon Thibodeau, one of the most up-and-coming edge rushers, also towards the top of the league in sacks. They just made a major investment with draft picks into the secondary for corner. There's a lot of good things on this Giants team. They are missing a fortified offensive line. They are missing a number 1 wide receiver.
Yes.
And they are missing a quarterback. Don't you fucking know there are 2 very good quarterbacks at the top of this draft?
I think there's more than 2.
There's a litany of very good quarterbacks within this draft.
Yeah.
You have a bunch of options, but I have done a lot of research in the last, I want to say 2.5 weeks into these guys. I was very anti Drake May, very anti UNC guy.
But
I was like,
now,
I don't want a guy from another basketball school.
Yes, you do.
But I've watched him.
Yes,
he is quite good.
He's quite good.
I
brought his name up on a previous recording.
You did. And I was like, basketball school quarterback. We did that once and it was bad. I don't.
Don't let Daniel sully the future of all these men.
And I don't think that it's Daniel's fault. I want to say this. I believed in Daniel. I still have like appreciation in my heart for Daniel. This dude had bye Dan, get the fuck out. But also this guy had 3 different head coaches in the 5 years he's been in the league. He's had 4 different offensive coordinators. He's had like the turnover he's never had a number 1 receiver. He's never had an offensive line better than 30th in the league. Like what if all of these things worked against him?
They don't take a QB, just the best tackle.
I don't, because we already have a left tackle, a franchise left tackle with Andrew Thomas. I don't want a tackle. I would understand you need one on the right side, but you can get one of those in free agency. You can get a guy that can play right tackle later in the draft. You can, get a guy that's toolsy. They also need to fire their offensive line coach because he's fucking terrible. Obviously, Evan Neal was the 7th pick in the draft and a can't miss prospect that everyone was like, he might be the best tackle in the draft. He might be the best tackle in the draft. He doesn't know his ass from his elbow when he's on the field. I don't understand it. The only way this man went backwards is because of this shitty coach. So give me a new offensive line coach, back up the Brinks truck for whoever the fuck the best offensive line coach is. I want to say whoever's in Houston because they're on like their 3rd set of offensive linemen and CJ Stroud's doing fine.
Yep. And they just keep that is true. When you have a great position coach, the next man up is possible. That might mean that Sam Fran doesn't have a lot of great position coaches because they're like
that could be elite
true at the tippy top and then it falls apart.
Bad. Anyway, don't want to soapbox this too bad. I like Drake May a lot. The only other pick I would be okay with, obviously Caleb Williams would be awesome too. I kind of like May better for what Brian Daboll does in offense. I think May fits that skill set a little more. I've seen this comparison a lot, and I see it when I watched the Duke UNC game this weekend where Drake May had to do like 2 game-winning drives, went to overtime. Very Justin Herbert-y. He has a very Justin Herbert-like style. He's tall, he's lanky like Herbert. He's got a really good arm. So I think that just fits more with what Daboll wants to do than Williams.
A
little bit handsome. He kind of also looks like a child, so I think the handsomeness will only go up as he like is able to grow a beard, unlike myself.
What about Bo Nix and Penix Jr.? Are they not juniors or
they are? I believe they're coming out. Bo Nix, I'm not sold on. That Oregon system is always kind of weird. It's like hit and miss.
Yeah.
Because like you look at, Marcus Mariota and Justin Herbert, and it's like, which one are you getting? You don't know. And then Penix has a long injury history, and we've already dealt with that a little bit. So like no major injury red flags with May. Nothing huge for Williams, I don't think either. But yeah, I'm on Drake May for right now. The only other acceptable pick for me is Marvin Harrison Jr. And then you trade back into the first round and try and grab a QB at the end for that very important 5th-year option. You want that 5th-year option.
Yes.
So those are my feelings. But I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is a stud. If they took him, I would not be upset.
No.
If you go tackle, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be pissed because
that's
there's been a lot
do.
invested in
that's what they're
offensive
gonna
line.
do.
So
you're gonna be let down.
Probably. But I'm used to it now, so it's not a big deal. I got my Super Bowls. I'm happy.
Thank
Eli,
you. Thank you for having the humility to know that you've got enough. You have won. You've lived through it. Let someone else have it.
Yeah, we got to ruin a Patriots perfect season, and then Eli did it again with a worse team.
And now, are you watching? I watch the Manning cast. At least I try to watch it every single time they're on, and I've been catching. You do as well?
Yeah,
like
I love the Manning cast.
They bring up him beating the Patriots regularly. I think it's fantastic. Like it's my favorite football watching experience right now.
I love, and them together is the best. Them together. I think Peyton loved beating Tom. Eli obviously loved beating Tom. So I think it just gets brought up because they're like, hey, we like Tom, but also fuck yourself.
Exactly.
Anyway, all of that to say, Commanders by a wide margin here.
Yeah,
I do
Commanders
not
all the day for me. I happen to agree with you again.
Cowboys at Carolina. Cowboys. This does not feel like it's going to be particularly close.
It should not be close. It should be a bit of a drubbing. Carolina is very bad. We'll need to clean house, probably coaching wise, because it is. Here's why, which leads into
culture,
another game.
Culture.
What's that?
Culture.
Well, not just that, but the excuse of it's a rookie, you need to give Frank Reich time. All that. No, look at what D'Amico, a rookie coach, can do with many rookies. Right? Reich's not good. Right? So Tepper, I think the owner there even likes to usually move quickly, so he'll probably clear out. He's got to get someone that's actually a good talent cultivator type coach, because Bryce Young has talent, but if he's never coached by that type of coach, he will be nothing. He will literally be nothing.
Yeah, I could see, and they're not as dominant this year as they were last year, but I could definitely see the Eagles losing an offensive coordinator again to possibly Carolina, just because Jalen Hurts is what you want that type of quarterback to be. A little undersized, good arm, good accuracy, ability to run a little bit. That's kind of what you want in your dude. And like Shane Steichen has shown that like that system works for those guys. And I think the Eagles are
Indy's still winning games even with Gardner.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a good coach. He's a better coach. Yeah. I hate that I'm bashing a couple coaches here, but I'm not meaning it about them personally. It's just like they're at the bottom of the 32. You know what I mean? Like there's 32 of these positions.
Somebody's got to be.
There's other people that can excel at the position to bring other people down the ladder, So it's, owners got to make that decision. And on teams as bad as Carolina, they got to do it quick.
So Cowboys by a bunch. Tennessee at Jacksonville. I'm gonna go Jacksonville here. I do like the Titans' new look with Will Levis. I think they're gonna be, competitive for the next couple of years with him, as long as they continue to build around him. But I think Jacksonville's just ready now.
Well, they're mad. They don't like how it went down last week.
They got a little spanked. I think it's 3 points is not good.
Didn't they?
It was a lot spanked. It was a lot
points,
spanked. It was like 30-3. Yeah.
Yeah, like the offense has a lot to prove. The defense obviously got railroaded. I just that's a get right game for them. I kind of think they might whoop Tennessee. I'm a little nervous because that takes my guy Derrick Henry from a fantasy out of the game.
Yeah, you don't going down early.
Maybe shootout. Maybe a shootout.
Shootout would be good. Shootout would be good. Yeah, their defense is not the greatest. So even though it should be better, shootout is good. Shootout is good for you. Arizona at Houston. Kyler Murray comes back, game-winning drive down the field. You love to see it. So fucking cool. And then he posted a hype video on his Instagram. I don't know if you saw that. But it was sweet. It was so cool. It was like intercut with him doing therapy and trying to get back and like the individual play and then the drive down the field. And it was awesome. It was
I saw a top-down view of him running, and it was dope. Great. Like the Bijan Robinson clip earlier this year.
Same thing.
You saw it. It's fucking great.
It was great.
A healthy Kyler. Mike would agree with this because he was pro Kyler back in the day.
I'm still pro Kyler. I love
what's that?
Kyler. I'm still pro Kyler.
Oh yeah,
I love Kyler.
well, I think I am too. He got burned by him fantasy wise, so that's why I'm not. I don't know how he feels now, but it was like it's a healthy Kyler is really fun for the league. I'm really glad my dad even remembers like, oh my God, it's so fun to watch this guy play. You know what I mean? Like, yes. Fantastic.
She's a beaut.
It's a little blurry because of my internet, but I know that's a Kyler.
It is a Kyler.
He's
on-card
so
auto patch.
He's so fun. He got a bad rap for like not his own reasons. There was a narrative about him that he's not like locked in, that he games too much. And I don't even necessarily know if it's true. I know he does game, but the dude is elite. He got drafted number 1 overall in the NFL, first round in the fucking MLB. Like he's an elite athlete, super fun. The league is better when a guy like that is playing. And is Arizona going to all of a sudden win a bunch of shit? Not this second, but if he stays healthy, they go immediately relevant again next season.
Yeah, it makes me think, again, relating this back to the Giants and my love of Kyler. If the Giants are sold on going quarterback at 2, and let's say Arizona picks at 3, what is Arizona willing to give up to get a Marvin Harrison Jr. in Arizona so that the Giants can hoard picks a little bit to better their franchise? But also, Kyler showed with D-Hop, you give me a guy, we can do some stuff. And I like Hollywood Brown. But he's not a number 1. Hollywood Brown is not a number 1.
Correct.
Zach Ertz is on the opposite end of the prime. He's coming down.
For sure.
McBride could be a guy, but we're not sure yet. He hasn't strung enough together. They need help on that O-line. James Conner sticks around, great. If he doesn't, who knows? Like, there's a lot of question marks, but it looks like the bones are there for Arizona to be competitive.
Yeah.
Because they're not losing games the way that they should have been without Kyler. And now that Kyler's back and he's 1-0 on the season, you're like, maybe this team's a little scrappy.
But that's why, for me, I'm picking Arizona against the grain. Not because I don't like the Texans. I do, and I know we'll get there. But I think I'm going off the momentum meter. Things are very high for the Texans. They're due for a little fumble-rooski, and Kyler has a bit to prove right now, right? So I think the Texans are the better team, right? And by the end of the season, we'll have way more wins than the Cardinals and go in the playoffs and probably do that. I think they get caught here.
I am taking the Texans.
Yeah, you are.
Just because CJ Stroud, 16 touchdowns to 1 interception.
Elite.
It's disgusting. It's filthy is what it is. And like at the beginning of the season, if I told you that he was going to do this with Noah Brown, Tank Dell, the ghost of Robert Woods, and sometimes Nico Collins, you'd be like, Pat, are you on drugs? And I'd be like, no, Craig, I can see the future. He's doing this with a terrible offensive line, terrible O-line, receivers that are like later round picks or guys that are unheralded, and he is balling.
Yeah.
Balling. Like,
he's the guy.
Top 10 quarterback today in the NFL balling.
Oh, you could argue top 5 right now.
It would be a tough argument because of some of the games that were lost. Yeah,
I'm talking about I agree.
And you know what? I'm going to call back to something that you had said earlier. D'Amico brings the vibe. And I think that's what this team runs on right now is they are vibing. And I love it. I love watching the Texans when they come up on red zone. And I never thought I'd say those words since J.J. Watt left. But I like watching the Texans. They are fun.
Yes, they're fun. They're fun. And that's a huge thing for all of us watching, because when it gets exciting to see, we all have our teams and everything like that, but sometimes that has ups, like Miami's up, now New York's down, right? But Miami's been down before, and New York's been way up. Teams like what Houston's doing now, or the Trevor Lawrence rise of the Jags, or Kyler coming back, like these narratives are incredibly fun and entertaining. And you're right, you said this when we first started. I didn't realize how many fun elements this week's got in terms of matchup, because I think I got burned by, we've had a couple weeks of some poo-poo primetime matchups too.
Oh yeah. Anyway, I like that we're both picking, because honestly, this is a tough pick for me because I love Kyler. I want Kyler to succeed, and I think Kyler can succeed in Arizona.
I'm just trying to grab
but,
dubs, man, to try to come back.
I get it. I understand. Bucks Niners. This doesn't feel like it needs a lot of breakdown. I'm taking the Niners here. The Bucks defense is pretty good, but San Francisco, like you said, when they are all healthy, I don't know that there's a better team than them.
Right. I wanted to take the Bucks to get another steal one, but this one doesn't feel with Trent
right
back and Debo back. Unless they get hurt during the game, I see no scenario where the Niners lose.
Well, we are going to get now into a selection that I am excited to make and excited to talk about, because this is a game that is more important to one team than another. And I don't say that because the Jets are terrible and they're not winning games. They're doing some winning. They are doing some winning. But Buffalo is doing far more losing than I think anyone anticipated at the beginning of the season. And this, to me, showed signs in the Giants game. They played the Giants, and that game was significant. The Giants could have won that game.
Yes.
And arguably should have won that game. And I'm very thankful right now that they didn't. But they arguably should have won that game.
More losses.
More law, please. That is better.
Please. Please.
But Buffalo has not looked like Buffalo. They just let go of their offensive coordinator.
You just
Ken
mean
Dorsey.
they don't look like the Buffalo of when they were winning. They absolutely look like they're making Buffalo level mistakes.
They are making 80s Buffalo mistakes. Wide right. But they do not look like the juggernaut that they have looked like. And so, again, when we talked about them last time we were on, just the two of us, we discussed that, like, this window may be closing.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think you've been on it a little bit, and you kind of quiet down when he does really well, and then you get very loud when he does really bad. But like, you have been dropping these little nuggets of like, I'm not convinced. You're like, Josh Allen, he's so fun. He's so explosive. He's got a huge arm. He's able to run around the yard like backyard football. It's great to watch. It's super fun. I'm not convinced he's a guy. And you have been dropping those nuggets for the last like 2 years.
Oh, thank you, sir.
You are now in a position where he is making consistent errors. It is not, we said, I believe in the pod a couple weeks ago, you can count on him for like 2, 3, 4, 5 errors a game. It is not that low anymore.
No, and now there's a lot of turnovers coming with it. It's not just bonehead, like missed throws or ran when he shouldn't have. Those were happening. Now it's really putting balls in the other team's hands with frequency.
Yeah, and it's starting to frustrate his number one wide receiver. Gabe Davis, also a free agent. Well, he's been upset for like 2 years, but it's getting louder in that room for Josh Allen.
Isn't Dorsey's firing is probably more to do with the fact that, like, how is Diggs not more involved, right?
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't you look at the teams doing it well offensively when Vikings have Jefferson, they scheme to get Jefferson the ball, right? The we can go across the league here. It doesn't matter, right? What A.J. Brown is doing and how they kind of thought their offense in the Eagles. You saw A.J. Brown eat a lot. Tyreek for Miami. Like, you have to put the playmaker in the forefront at a minimum early in a game to play a different thing in the second half to begin with. And they're not doing it. So do I think there was a whole narrative about, oh, does he even get fired if they end up winning that game and don't have that bad luck or whatever? And I'm like, well, I don't know, man. His offense wasn't doing it regardless. It really wasn't there to begin with.
So one of the things that I think is really interesting is that after last season, Leslie Frazier left this Buffalo defense.
That's right.
And he went on a sabbatical, and he was like, Sean McDermott, the head coach of the Bills, has taken over play calling for the defense. Right. And it's a lot of guys that are back from last year. A lot of dudes came back from last year, and this defense is markedly worse right now than it has been. And just by the by, another thing I came across today in my stumblings and my researchings and whatnot, the Buffalo Bills right now, today, are $30 million over the cap for next year. They are due to pay Josh Allen $47 million. Stephon Diggs, $28 million.
Oops.
Von Miller, $24 million.
Not good.
Trey White, $17 million.
Who's that?
Deion Dawkins, $17 million. Dawson Knox, 14. Matt Milano, 13. Taron Johnson, 12. Mitch Morse, 12. This is all per over the cap. So, like,
dude,
these numbers
over,
can obviously
dude.
change.
It's over. The window is slammed closed. They have to move some pieces just to play because they went off. They did it. They tried to do what the Rams did. They tried to do what the Bucks did. Like, it's not bad that they did it. They just fucking billsed it up.
They did bills it up. They did bills. They couldn't get past Kansas City. And then it's a problem.
Cincinnati
this is a problem for the Bills. And and then Joe Burrow was like, "I'm the guy. Get out of my face."
You could just see it with his cigar. He was like, "These fuckers thought it was him. They thought it was him."
It definitely feels like that.
To be versus Patrick,
feels like that.
Him? It's not him. It's me.
Well, and it's so telling that like Trayvon Diggs is banged up right now and just tweeting endlessly about how Josh Allen couldn't do shit before Stephon Diggs got there. And in all sincerity and in all honesty, where's the lie? Look at Allen. And Allen was still green. So in all fairness, he was still green. But look at his numbers pre-Stephon.
Mm-hmm.
Look at his numbers with Stephon. And like, this is Stephon's coming up on 30. He's going to be over the age of 30 next season. Like, he's starting the descent down.
Yeah, but I hope he
was going to have to change anyway.
Right back.
Yeah, I think he will. But like, Stephon's game is going to have to change regardless because he's not going to be the speed guy anymore. He's going to have to be that. And he's very good route runner.
Yeah.
Very good route runner. So I'm not worried about that. He can go become a slot guy, run sick routes in the middle of the field all day. Not worried about that. But he's going to have to change his game. And Josh Allen doesn't play that kind of ball. He doesn't play that like down the middle between the tackles, second level ball. He's that, I'm going to chuck it and you get it.
No discipline.
Like,
he's lacking discipline. He's talented.
It is.
He's talented.
Super talented.
And you gave me the cred for that. I would always say that. I did. Always. But people putting him up ahead of Patrick that one year really irked me.
No way.
Anytime he was, that was in fantasy, like rankings and stuff, that really irked me. And like, I get that he's still good he was early in the season still good for fantasy points. That even kind of went away because he's not covering up as many of the errors. Because I feel like even this last game, he got like a 12 or something like that, like a more of a detriment at the quarterback position. So I'm actually taking the risky risk and saying the Jets could steal one here. I'm taking them.
So I am taking the Bills, but only because Allen does show up in divisional games, unless they're against New England, apparently.
You're right.
But I do not hate the Jets pick. I initially picked the Jets and then switched back because I was like, I feel like the offensive coordinator change is either going to be great for them and it's going to incentivize, or you're going to see a blow up and it's like Sean McDermott's now coaching for his job for the end of this season. Curious to see what happens there. We'll see. Seahawks, Rams. I'm going Rams. I feel good about the Rammies. I think Stafford's back. The Seahawks, I don't believe. I don't have faith. They win games, but like, you're like, really? Again? You?
Why are you winning? I don't understand.
Exactly. Who said?
No, I don't. I can't agree with you. I've got to take Pete Carroll, the gum chewer, the 72-year-old man or however old he is.
He's very old, and I love it.
I don't believe in the Rams. They won a few games early, but I'm on the other side of you. You thought, hey, I do believe. I like the coach. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love McVay. I think he's one of the better coaches in the league. But gosh, like, I just think that Seattle offense is still very good, and the Rams D is a shadow of what it once was. So I think Seattle gets this one, and I think they kind of easily do it. Coming at you.
I mean, I'm interested to see. This was one that I looked at and I was like, I'm going to try and steal this. So, a sneaky, fun Sunday night game that like 2 weeks ago we all would have been like, boo.
It would have been a big boo, bro. Big boo.
Big boo. Big boo. But Broncos riding the heater. They're letting Russ cook. The Vikings jumping on the back of Josh Dobbs.
Yep.
And riding that majestic stallion astronaut man into
he's like a rocket scientist or some shit, right?
He is actually an astrophysicist. Yeah. Yes, he is actually an astronaut. He is smart enough to be that and an NFL quarterback somehow.
Quite cool.
It's very cool. It's very cool. However, I am going back into old tendencies. I'm letting Russ cook, baby. Give me the Denver Broncos here. I love it. It's so good to see. I think people are underrating what Russ has done this season so far. Their numbers because the Broncos haven't been winning. He's doing well. He's doing so much better. And Sean Payton, I think, is really a big boon to that, obviously. But like, Russ isn't done yet. I think we're about to see some fireworks and some fun in Denver if they can make this rebuild happen a little quicker. He's still a guy.
I know you're right. I watched the whole game on Monday. That was fun, and had seen enough Russ clips earlier in the season because he's my QB. I have the Cortland Sutton Russell Wilson stack in my league where I didn't have a pick for 3 rounds. Sorry, where I was really scrounging and trying to figure shit out. I have Baker too, but it's not good. It's not good. But I'm 5-5.
That's a bad situation.
I'm in 5th. I almost, if Josh Allen fucked me, and I almost upset who had
even more
Allen Diggs because they didn't do well. But yeah, I think Broncos is my pick as well. And it's nothing against Dobbs. I think his story's fantastic. Now, if they get Jefferson back, I heard that. I don't know if that's happening or not.
I don't know. But coming off of an injury, going against Patrick Surtain, I feel like, and not having practice with Dobbs, I feel like is enough.
True. Fair. I'm picking the Bronx. I think the Broncos country, let's ride. I mean, it's happening. It's happening. Let's
ride.
Mr. Unlimited.
They're riding, bro. They're riding. And not to get too quickly away from the Sunday night game, because I think we're going to do a primetime preview a little bit. Maybe this is an extra long one, so maybe we won't because we've talked about a lot of games in depth. But not to veer too quickly away from this, but this Monday night game deserves a full half hour on its own to talk about and break down, and like, we're not going to do that.
I have no feelings on this game whatsoever.
Fuck this game. No, this is Eagles Chiefs.
I'm so excited.
A rematch of the Super Bowl. Kelsey versus Kelsey. Taylor Swift in attendance, which is bad for the Eagles.
You're sure about this?
That. I read today.
I thought she was overseas.
This is where the parentals are meeting for the first time.
Stop it. Here's the thing. I want that to be true, but I think she's in fucking South America touring.
You think that's going to stop her from showing up on Monday Night Football for her fucking man?
Well, here's what I know. I'm actually able to look this up because the problem is she does all her tour dates are 3 days in a row at each location. So that's how she's been doing it. But let's take a look. Taylor Swift Eras Tour.
What is it, Monday night? She has Sunday the 19th in Rio. No Monday. Her next is Friday.
But she is back overseas again Friday, so it's just up to Brazil. That private jet and speed.
She owns a private jet.
I know that.
I definitely think
aware
that's
of
going
that.
to happen.
But like, what's the flight Kansas City to Rio de Janeiro? How far are we talking?
It's got to be like, I'm going to say 13 hours.
Yeah, let's see. It says, I don't want the price. I want the distance. I don't want to go there.
I don't care.
Yeah. Why would... This is incredibly rude. It gave me in fucking kilometers. This is America. What are you doing? You know I'm in America, you asshat Google. What, so 5,400 miles? That's got to take how many hours? God damn it. Googling is not going well for me right now. 11 hours and change. Ooh, I don't know.
Oh, okay, so I said 13. I was pretty close.
Does she go 11 hours red eye to be there for her man? Maybe. Here's what we know, though. If she is in attendance, she's in real big girl love. Because you don't do that and then have to travel back and then have to perform another 3 days if it's not special. But
it's a big
I'm
thing.
Suspect of her being there for this one. He was at a concert.
Gonna be there.
He went to Rio. And she dropped his fucking
on the bye.
She didn't say his name, but she referenced him. Big deal.
And I read on the interwebs that the parentals are meeting. This is the first meeting of the Kelceys and the
absolute
Swifts.
Bullshit on that. But I'm fucking here for it though, bro. That's the thing. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm saying I want that.
So many people that actually care about the NFL. The one person that cares about this that listens to this podcast is like, I'm turning this shit off. I'm so done with it.
But here's where, and we have more to discuss on this very game. I get that, but here's where I think the script writers won't. Yes, maybe she comes, and then the narrative only gets better. Eagles win this game because if you were writing the script, you wouldn't have Kansas City get it again here and then just like continue beating back the Eagles. You would give the Eagles the dub. So the narrative now is like, this is their year. But because the NFL likes dynasties, the Chiefs rise, somehow topple my Dolphins in the AFC Championship and run through them again. Kelsey Bowl 2, so many tickets, all the money, all the jerseys. And then somehow the NFL goes supernova and melts out and no football.
Because everyone explodes and dies. Yeah, man. It's if you're a scriptwriter, you definitely want the Eagles to get a dub here. But my thing is, Patrick Mahomes shows up when it matters. Yeah. And
big time Patty.
This game fucking prime matters, time, man. Patty. This game, prime time, Monday night, T-Swift in the building. He's not going to want to let Travis down in this very big moment. Like, and I watched the Jason Kelce documentary. I don't know if you watched that on Amazon Prime. Can't wait. Good. It's amazing. And I hated how much it made me like Jason, but Super watching Bowl. Him lose that Super Bowl pained me. It hurt me as someone who says, fuck the Eagles.
But he already has one. Has one. He's fine.
He does have one, but Travis is 2.
I think Travis cock blocks him again.
I do too, but I would feel much better about it if Kansas City had one better wide receiver, just one. You had one guy that was on the level of Devonta Smith, AJ Brown.
They are weaker than even last year offensively. They didn't make a move at the trade deadline like people thought. They didn't do anything. And now, because this is the NFL, things do happen quickly. We could see one of these young guys all of a sudden become, oh my God, where was he? What were we thinking? It could be Rashee Rice. It could be like Sky Moore could like hit another gear or something. They have a young guy named Watson too. Like that theoretically that can happen. Or Kadarius Toney can like
Justin Ross too.
Yeah. They've got things that could happen. And we would then be like, oh, of course we forgot. They figure it out. Like the Bengals, how they look bad.
Oh yeah, they're the Chiefs.
They'll get there. They have one of the best coaches in the league. Like they'll figure it out. Maybe he is the best coach now, right? Because Bill's diminished. Like he's just maybe Andy's the active best really guy that makes this happen. So yeah, I will watch that documentary to figure out if that makes me care a little more. But I've got Kansas City gear in this house, so like I would still be rooting for them, and I'm a lover of love. So Kelce and Swifty,
love
Swifty and Brittany Mahomes are now like hand holding photos and stuff. BFFs. So now Patrick's definitely incentivized, like you're saying, to make their connection, which by the way is already like verging on historic. The amount of touchdowns they have together and what they're doing together is starting to write some history books. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Eagles to try to steal one in our pick'em, but I think I prefer Kansas City to win, and I like Kansas City more to win.
Yeah, I am taking Kansas City. I, I, I. The Eagles are the best team in the NFC right now. I have no problem saying that. And I don't necessarily think that the Chiefs are the best team in the AFC right now. I have no problem saying that. But when the lights shine the brightest, the team that I know will show up is the Chiefs. And like I know there was a big deal made about Jalen having his phone background be him walking off the field at the Super Bowl with all the red and yellow confetti around him, and like that was his motivation and stuff. But he does not look like the Jalen of last year. And if they don't get that version of Jalen back, there's no way they beat this Chiefs team. I don't care how good
He's
your
banged
offensive
up,
line
though.
is. I don't care how good your offensive weapons are. Right. And that he's not going to get healthier. That's not how
You're
this
not
works.
wrong. You're not wrong about that.
If they don't, and even when he was presumably healthy, you would assume he started the season healthy. He still didn't look like that guy.
Yeah, it's hard to be that guy. It was like an elite season.
Yeah,
but they're winning
that
games.
was you kind of
they're
thought
winning games,
right? And that's the thing. But their defense isn't as good as it was, and their offense with Jalen is not as good as it was.
How do you feel?
And the Chiefs' offense isn't as good as it was, but the Chiefs' defense is way better than it was last year.
Let's say, Monday night, it's 11:30, and the Eagles have won like 31-20 or something. Do you feel differently now? And you're like, no. Winning is what matters here. The Eagles might be the best team in the league, or you're not there. Yep,
I'm not there. It's the parity in the league this year really has like corrupted my brain a little bit.
It's fun.
And it's great. I love it. But it also reinforces the fact that we don't know fucking anything. Like literally nothing. So it's one of those things where it won't change my mind. It'll definitely solidify the Eagles as being, the team to beat in the NFC. But like I look at Philly right now and I look at Detroit and I say, what does Detroit do worse than Philly? And it's like, there's not much. Detroit's got a great offensive line, got a great run game, got a great defense.
These are going to be fun playoff games, I hope. I really do. Like,
oh yeah, I agree.
I'm always excited for the playoffs, but it just feels like we've got better storylines right now than the last couple years. The playoffs are always awesome. Like, they're bittersweet because you're like, oh man, I'm less football, but these games are so good to be like a fan of watching the game. So, because we're far along here, man. We're coming up on almost 2/3 of the season, the regular season elapsing in another like week and a half left or something. So it's a really fun time because we're starting to think and get the thought in our heads like, oh, we know. And to your point, we don't know shit. And that's what makes it fun. That's what makes the pick'ems fun. That's what makes these games like, you're right. I'm glad as we go down this, like it is a good matchup week. I hope we see a lot of fun stuff. It's almost impossible that we wouldn't. Some of these games every week are good. So the fact that we have a lot of matchups, this is like a strong lineup. I'm staring at the lineup.
Yeah, it feels like a good week for football. I'm very excited. And then next week is Thanksgiving football, which is also awesome all the time, every single time. Like, so excited for that. That is really like, that's what gets me like, oh, it's the holidays, is like that day of football locks me into like, all right, I'm ready for cold. I'm ready for fireplace. I'm ready for presents and trees and lights and
Mel
have my electric bill go up an extra $125.
Put the tree up. No decorations yet, but the tree and the floor thing is up, and now they're going to decorate. Like, it's happening over here, bro. Halloween became the catalyst for us because we trick or treat, and then it's like, no. It is now the holiday season. And Thanksgiving football, which as I got older, I was able to imprint on my family that it just goes on. It just goes on. Like, it's on wherever everyone is. Mel knows my love of football doesn't trump family. I'll skip football to go do family stuff. But when the both are happening and they're in the same room, it's pro football on all the time. It's the only times I got to skip, I got to like leave. I got to go with the cousins or we're going to a thing. But like if we're at their house, like the game's on. Like I am so stoked for it. And Detroit being good makes Dallas being good. Like it's for several years. some of those Thanksgiving games were like, oh man, the Lions. It's
shit.
a delightful season where it's only a bummer to be a Giant fan, a Carolina fan. Like, there's only a few absolute dog shit teams. I'm really sorry one of them happens to be yours. Green Bay, absolute trash.
Drake May.
I like that you've turned to Drake May over Caleb. I really do.
Man. Yes. I watched a lot of tape.
Well,
I really did. I watched a lot of tape. So. I've watched some breakdowns. I'm excited, dude. I actually have a college football game circled, and the 18th. North Carolina plays Clemson, and I was like, I need to see how this kid plays against this defense, because Clemson might not be what they were,
but it's still cool.
But you still get commits to Clemson.
I hope he plays well, because I do think he's the better prospect.
Yeah, what I've learned a lot about Caleb is that he's electric when plays break down, but when it comes time to drop back and be the guy that's reading the defense, maybe not the best. Maybe that's just what they're asking him to do at USC. I don't know. He's got the raw talent.
He's got the raw talent.
Scout.
They were,
oh my God,
people were building him up to be like the next Pat Mahomes, and I am not here for this talk. I'm not here for this.
I don't see, after watching a lot about him and him up against Drake. I'm just, it's a closer gap than I thought it was, and based on Brian Daboll, based on Mike Kafka, and what they're good at, Drake May fits this style more. He's a guy that can use speed to escape, but he's not someone that runs. He throws, he reads defenses, he stays in the pocket, throws a deep ball, like, has a good arm, all that stuff. Good things, all good things. So I'm coming around on Drake May. We will have some Mike Spillane brought to you draft content coming up shortly. I have talked him into being our version of Mel Kiper, and I have titled him hashtag Sexy Mel Kiper. Ooh. So he is going to be our Sexy Mel Kiper. I hope so badly he does it in like a silk smoking jacket and like a pipe. I want that more than anything in the world. I don't know that it'll happen, but I'm trying. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. But he's going to bring us some draft content. Him and I are talking about it. He's going to wait until a little closer to the end of season, but we're gonna do some breakdowns. We're going to talk about top 5 lists of position players and whatnot. Yeah, I'm really hoping for the smoking jacket and the pipe. I'm really
Mike, if you're listening, figure it out, bro. Figure it out.
Get it
Pat,
together.
Ship him that shit.
I might do that. I might just send him the stuff and be like, all right, Sexy Mel, this is have it like embroidered across the top of the pectoral where it just says Sexy Mel. We'll see what happens. We'll mess around with it, but we will have some draft content coming. I've started looking at players and stuff. I am not as in depth as Mike Spillane is. He is much better at this than me.
Loves it, and I think that's awesome. It's like he's his best version of himself during draft season.
He really is. And this is something that he'll be really proud if he listens to all hour and 8 minutes of this. He'll be really proud that I said this. Probably not, but him and I. But more him than anyone were saying at the beginning of this draft, CJ Stroud was the best quarterback in this draft to play NFL football today. Like, will he end up being the best? Maybe not. Anthony Richardson's ceiling is probably higher than Bryce Young's and CJ Stroud's, but there's that health factor. You can't make the team from the tub. Bryce Young might get ruined in this first season by Frank Reich. Like, who knows? But he was a very, very loud proponent of saying CJ Stroud is going to come into this league, be a dude. And he said if the Giants were up there and needed a quarterback, they should have went CJ Stroud. We were not up there, even though we needed a quarterback. I digress. Drake May, bring me him. I want him, or Marvin Harrison Jr. I won't take anything less. Please. I will spend a fortune in rookie cards and get another helmet auto, because I have my Herbert right there, and I have a DJ behind it because I was trying to support, and that was wasted money. Now I'm gonna just watch those toil into $20 or something.
That's the bargain bin. The Herbert will rise for you and be worth money.
The Herbert I like. The Herbert's on a black with a blue tipped marker. It's a sweet signature. Yeah,
Pro
I'm about it.
sports.
So Drake May, come to the Giants, sign a mini football helmet for me so I can put it on my stuff. And but guys, thank you so much if you've made it to this point in the podcast. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We greatly appreciate it. Do us a favor and support our channel by liking, commenting, subscribing. We have stuff to give away. This is a true thing. Like, this is not us joking with you. I'm gonna say, if someone comments, one person comments on this video and just says something that is not one of Craig's friends, my friends, we will send you some football cards. We got some good rookie cards. We've got some fun stuff to be able to just send you. I will get in contact with you. We will figure out how that needs to happen. We'll send you some stuff. So just comment on this video, subscribe to our channel. Again, thank you for hanging out. We will see you all back here next time. We did it.